May 24th, 2019. It's 10 a.m. in Indianapolis, and the Washington Square Mall prepares to open its doors. While most of the national chains have left, small businesses find a new home in this DeBartolo Mall. Let's step inside and see what Washington Square Mall has to offer. Eddie DeBartolo had a thing for the Indianapolis region, and Washington Square would be his third and final mall in the region. Built and opened in 1974, the Washington Square Mall began with JCPenney and Sears, which moved from the nearby Eastgate Shopping Center. L.S. Ayers, William H. Block, and Lazarus also flocked for the mall. At some point, Old Navy would also come to the mall as well. Simon would acquire the mall after merging with DeBartolo's company around 1996, and would bring some updates to the mall in 1999. Although this would detract from the original charm, Simon seemed to do a very basic and conservative touch-up on the interior, while the exterior was altered quite a bit more in comparison. Around the 90s and 2000s, L.S. Ayers, William H. Block, and Lazarus would all come together under Federated Department Stores, and William H. Block would close to bolster Lazarus. Of the two, only L.S. Ayers would remain open as a Macy's. Around the early 2000s, however, JCPenney would close shop, but would be succeeded by the arrival of Burlington Coat Factory in 2003. William H. Block, which was filled briefly by Montgomery Ward, would be torn down to make way for a Target with mall access, which would help maintain anchor occupancy at the mall, while Dick's Sporting Goods would come in to fill the void left behind by Lazarus. Macy's would inevitably close around 2006, but would be filled in by a furniture liquidation company known as Indy Furniture Liquidation. Despite a valiant attempt by Simon to maintain relevance, Washington Square Mall would begin to slip further as Indy Furniture left in 2013, followed by a chain exodus in 2014, which included Bonworth, Foot Locker, MCL Cafeterias, and Rack Room Shoes. Foot Locker was the only tenant that relocated elsewhere in the area. In 2014, Sears announced they would be leaving Washington Square Mall. That same year, Simon would have been trying to quietly sell the mall, getting it off of their portfolio. Simon's logos would have been removed from the official website, and Simon's page on Washington Square would be disabled. Eventually, they handed the mall's deed over to an unnamed lender and walked away from the mall with $11.7 million. And a third party would be brought in to manage the mall, this party being Jones Lang LaSalle. It wasn't all bad news, however, as there were reports of occupancy starting to rise back up to 85%, a massive step up from the measly 50% when Simon gave up the mall. Around 2016, Kohan Retail Investment Group would have purchased the mall at the low price of $2.5 million and would appoint a third party to manage the mall. This party, again, being Jones Lang LaSalle. The mall became a haven for small businesses, maintaining relevance as a B-class mall. Unfortunately, the mall would slip into disrepair as maintenance was left unkempt. Today, in 2019, Washington Square Mall is still under ownership by Kohan Retail, a potential foreclosure auction having been averted back in 2018. While the mall has certainly seen better days, it is still clinging to life with Burlington Coat Factory, a different furniture liquidator in the former Macy's, Target, and Dick's, all overlooking a handful of chain stores mingled among many smaller businesses. The mall also maintains a relatively safe atmosphere with security presence that is rumored to be armed. Before we begin on personal thoughts and feelings, a friendly reminder that this mall was filmed at around 10 a.m. Any dark stores that you see that have a logo over them may not have opened up just yet. In fact, at some points, you'll see lights come on in some of these stores and their gates open. Simon has renovated this mall, but if you get down to it, the only part where they did noticeable work on was the outside of the mall. It has this fancy new exterior, while the interior is still mostly of 70s vintage. But the best thing going for this mall are those ceiling tiles above us. Can you guess the mall those were also found in? This mall feels like a total time warp to the late 70s, and I love it. This mall does have a security presence. I did see one blart walking the halls, but he didn't seem to be very concerned with his surroundings at that moment. He was just stopping to chat with some of the kiosk employees. Does help kinda enforce a sense of community to this mall, especially with the small businesses abound in its place. Perhaps, if management is listening, a bigger focus on community events can help give people a reason to come to the mall and drive traffic. You guys seem to have made something work with what you have, and while you might not think so with this video, I don't want you to lose it. Now, down this corridor here is the former Macy's, which now hosts a furniture gallery, different from the previous one that came and went. Now, the store hours say that they open later than the mall, and while I was looking at the storefront, I had gotten my shot and was getting ready to do pictures when someone inside opened the shutter and asked if I wanted to come in and shop. I told him no, I was just looking. I mean, sure, I could buy something out of courtesy, but what would I do if I did buy, say, a chair from here? How would I get it all the way back down home in North Carolina? Because I'm not sure if it would fit in my car. Now, regarding management, there is the elephant in the room I need to address, and that is Kohan Retail. I have been to a few malls that were under its ownership, and if I'm honest, their track record for maintaining malls has not been all that good. In fact, there is a past property I filmed that I'll need to come back to and talk to them about it. This mall is still in very good shape, but there are signs of neglect starting to crop up. A missing ceiling tile here, a strategically placed trash can there, signs of water damage elsewhere. They're very subtle, but if left unchecked, they can grow into serious problems that can cripple just about any mall. These problems, when they're found, they should be addressed and fixed ASAP if management wants to keep money flowing in this mall. Take care of your tenants, and I am sure they'll take care of you. There are more things I'd like to say about Kohan Retail itself, but we'll draw the line here as we are starting to near the end of the video. Washington Square Mall, for my final thought, is still in decent shape, and is another mall that is doing all it can to survive. They still have most of their anchors occupied, and they have a network of smaller businesses operating inside. I just hope management can keep this place together and make it last. If you enjoyed this video, then by all means, do like the video, and share it if you think others will enjoy it. If you are new to the channel, welcome aboard, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more Dead Malls, and do ring the bell if you want to see more from me specifically. Eventually, we'll plan to look at individual department stores, as well as get back to the derelict side of this channel, which has been feeling, well, derelict. You can also find me on minds.com/DoomieGrunt, and if you feel it's necessary, I have a Ko-fi page where you can donate to support the channel if you feel inclined to do so. And don't forget about the Dead Malls Discord if you want to continue discussion about Washington Square Mall, which is linked down below as well. We have many creators for you to talk to out there, myself included. Follow the link and answer a couple questions with the mods, and you'll be good to go. Until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Washington Square Mall farewell and good luck. Here in the Dead Mall parking lot, we like to play a game called Parking Lot Minesweeper. It's just like the real game Minesweeper, but instead of mines, you dodge potholes. To add to the authenticity of losing a game of parking lot minesweeper, there is a chance that you'll bend your rims out of shape and lose your tires.